Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. So, what do we have here? Well, a fairly typical battle since the Commander skill rework. Lots and lots of battleships, a couple of extremely nervous cruisers, and lots of destroyers. One of whom is You Euthanize Me here. Give that man a brownie point for his name alone. You Euthanize Me in the Halland, the Tier 10 Swedish chef hurdy-gurdy-gurdy boat. There are a lot of Shimakazes in this battle, I don't know if you noticed. All four of the enemy destroyers are Shimakazes. There's a Shimakaze on Euthanize Me's team, as well as himself and two Harugamos. Which isn't really surprising. I mean, if you change the game meta to incentivize and encourage all the battleships to hang back, that means that there's less cruisers playing, because they're all extremely nervous about pushing forward and supported, which means there's less hydro, and there's less radar. And when you're in a battle with no carrier, it's party time for all of the destroyers, particularly Shimakazes, because of their extremely good stealth, and their hard-hitting and long-ranged torpedoes. Now, you'd expect that with 5 of the stealthiest destroyers in the game in play, very few cruisers, only 1 radar per team and no aircraft carrier, that these cap circles were going to fall very, very quickly. Or at least be contested very quickly, because there's practically zero threat here to the enemy Shimakazes. You'd expect that. And if you do, I think you're vastly overestimating the intelligence of the average Shimakaze player. Remember, for quite some time the Shimakaze was also the fastest ship in the game. It can do in excess of 40 knots. So if they wanted to contest these cap circles, they could be doing it by now. And yet even the Shimakaze on You Euthanize Me's team, he's getting close to that cap circle, but he's not going in it. Are they all really that scared of the Salem's radar? Well, they don't need to be, because the Salem is up here, and he's just completely wasted his 9-kilometer radar by using it from behind an island in a position where he can't cover either of the 2 cap circles closest to him. And we finally have some signs of life in the cap circles. The friendly Shimakaze up ahead has just inched over the border of the cap circle that You Euthanize Me is now approaching. There is definitely a Shimakaze in Cap Circle Bravo, which nobody is challenging, and perhaps more bizarrely, the friendly Harugamo, or one of the friendly Harugamos, is flipping Cap Circle Alpha, completely uncontested by any of the 4 enemy Shimakazes who could easily outspot him. Oh wait, I spoke too soon. Shimakaze spotted in Cap Circle Alpha, spotted in open water, within 5 kilometers of a Minotaur and 2 Harugamos. Arguably the most dangerous gunboat destroyer in World of Warships. So he's dead, right? Well, once again, you'd think so. But just watch how long it takes them to actually do anything about him. I think what might actually be going on down there, and I don't know for sure, I mean, I'd love to actually be able to see it, but I think that the only one shooting at that Shimakaze is the first Harugamo, the one who's actually inside the cap circle. Everybody else is just trying to hide, because they don't want to get shot at by that crowd of enemy ships down to the south. And the first Harugamo is thinking, well, screw it, I'm spotted anyway. So he, up until now, has been the only one shooting at that enemy Shimakaze. The Minotaur waited until he was tucked in behind an island and mostly safe from return fire, and is the one who kills him. But everybody waited until they were safe before they opened up on that Shimakaze was really bad news for the friendly Harugamo, who was contesting Cap Circle Alpha, because nobody on the enemy team held their fire until they were safe from return fire. The Harugamo has gone down, finished off by the other enemy Shimakaze. My initial reaction was, oh my god, a Harugamo just lost a gunfight to a Shimakaze, but I think what actually happened was the Harugamo lost a gunfight to 2 Shimakazes, a Grosser Curve first, a Worcester, a Conqueror, and a Thunderer, which is hardly surprising. I think the only thing that is surprising about that encounter is that the dead Harugamo isn't bitching in team chat about having his arse left hanging in the breeze by everybody else on the team down there to the south. Now, that very angry looking smoke screen over there does not contain a Shimakaze. It does in fact contain the enemy Minotaur. And smoke screens, as we all know, are torpedo magnets. And the Minotaur, as we all know, has hydroacoustic search. In fact, the very first thing that the friendly Minotaur down to the south, the one that killed the Shimakaze, did, on spotting the Shimakaze, was turn around, run for cover, and pop his hydro. Thanks to that, nobody, as far as we can tell, got hit by any torpedoes. Well, they might have. Just because you can see the torpedoes coming doesn't necessarily mean that people actually do anything about them. But nobody died to any of the Shimakaze torpedoes, and there were 2 Shimakazes down there. So remember, that could have been 30 very, very powerful torpedoes swamping a very, very small area of naval real estate. So the fact that nobody died to either of those 2 Shimakazes, other than the Harugumo, and he was sunk by gunfire from one of the Shimakazes, is actually something of a miracle. Meanwhile, You Euthanize Me has crept around the side of this island here, and I just want to pause proceedings here, because the first time I watched this battle I thought, wow, that Salem up to the north has actually managed to get into a position where he can use his radar effectively. But upon second viewing of this battle, it became very swiftly apparent that that was not in fact the case. The Salem has just completely wasted his radar again. It only looked as if he'd spotted the Minotaur inside that smoke screen. The Salem uses his radar, and there's the Minotaur, except the Minotaur is 6 kilometers away from You Euthanize Me, and the Salem is 6 kilometers further away to the north, which means he's 12 kilometers away from the Minotaur. And the only reason the Minotaur got spotted at the same time that the Salem used his radar was because the Minotaur was sick and tired of not being able to see anything, and he pops his nose in and out of the smoke screen in order to get a view of what's going on around him. And he did spot You Euthanize Me, and he has hydro, and yet still managed to get hit by 3 torpedoes. And I'm going to pause things again, because there's just so much more going on over there. Do you see the 2 Shimakazes engaged in a furious point-blank range gunfight on the far side of the enemy Yamato? How the hell did that happen? Well, it happened because the friendly Shimakaze decided to get to within 5 kilometers of the Yamato before launching his torpedoes, and then didn't. I've got nothing at this point. I really just don't understand what's going on. Even if any of these Shimakazes have the Type F3 torpedo, which is the shortest range torpedo you can mount on the Shimakaze, they can still stealth torpedo, so why are none of them doing it? Why are they all closing to within detection range of targets, and then not launching the torpedoes anyway? Oh, and we've just lost the Harugumo to the enemy Thunderer, so You Euthanize Me in the Halland, the least stealthy destroyer in this battle, is now the only destroyer left on his team. And what are his team doing? Well, they're not shooting at the Shimakaze that's just been spotted in open water a couple of kilometres to the south, although to be fair, neither is You Euthanize Me. He's still trying to figure out whether or not anybody's going to sink that Yamato, and if the Minotaur is still hiding inside that smokescreen, but he's spotted him now, right after the Shimakaze torpedoes and sinks the Grosser Kurfürst. So they're 4 ships down, they're 300 points down, they're 2 cap circles down, and nobody else is shooting at that Shimakaze. However, the Minotaur is launching torpedoes at him. And yep, that really happened. Oh, and there goes the Yamato. And note the 152mm armour piercing coming out of that smokescreen. The Minotaur is still there, despite having just taken 3 torpedoes, and now he's just taken a 4th. Gee, if only we had some kind of radar. Nah, clearly we're expecting miracles here. Still, at least he's managed to retain all of his health. What is that Salem actually doing? He's shooting at something. Oh, Hindenburg. Well, that's not completely useless. But you see the bunch of friendly ships sailing south? One of them was a Yamato, who just died to flooding. Flooding caused by torpedoes launched by the Shimakaze over there. So you've got a group of friendly ships over there sailing south. Ooh, lag spike. Oh, we're okay. But yes, a group of friendly ships over there sailing south, which did consist of a Montana, a Thunderer, a Hindenburg, and a Yamato, and are now minus the Yamato because they're getting picked off one by torpedoes launched by a Shimakaze. And they're going to have to sail past an island, and there he is, an island containing a smoked up Minotaur, and you can guarantee that the Minotaur is also going to be launching torpedoes at them. So I can't help but think that that Salem, who, let's not forget, has the only radar on the team, even if it is a bit of a Walmart bargain basement version of the Des Moines radar, but it's the only radar the team have. So I can't help but feel, oh look, more torpedoes. I can't help but feel that that Salem could be having a major impact on the outcome of this battle. Oh, wait, he's using his radar again. And he's detected nothing. For the third time. But wait, it gets better. Well, it gets worse because now they've just lost the Montana as well, but look at what the Salem's doing. Now that he's blown 3 charges of his radar consumable and detected nothing, now that his radar's on cooldown and of no use to anybody, assuming he even has any charges of radar left, now is when he leaves the cover of the island and starts moving south. You couldn't make this shit up. Meanwhile, you euthanize me, in company with the friendly Minotaur, doing his level best. His stealth isn't great. I mean, it's not terrible, 6 kilometers, but it's not as good as a Shimakaze, and there are still 2 Shimakazes on the enemy team. One of whom keeps launching torpedoes into what was a fairly powerful group of friendly ships sailing south, and now isn't, because 2 of them have died. One directly to torpedoes launched by the Shimakaze, one indirectly to gunfire directed by the Shimakaze, who keeps them spotted. Oh, speaking of Shimakazes, take a look at the map, western map border. Another Shimakaze just popped up within what must be 2 kilometers of the last surviving friendly Yamato. I think we're about to witness the death of yet another Yamato. And we are. But you euthanize me's torpedoes have also put an end to the enemy Thunderer, and there's the torpedo armament expert, so his already rapid reloading torpedoes are now reloading even more rapidly. Unfortunately, oh look, Hindenburg's just been sunk by Shimakaze torpedoes, so that group of friendly ships heading south from Cap Circle Charlie, which did consist of a Yamato, a Montana, a Thunderer, and a Hindenburg, now consists of just a Thunderer. And it's all because they were getting torpedoed or spotted by that one Shimakaze. A Shimakaze that the Salem is still too far away to do anything about, even if he even has any remaining charges on his radar consumable. It's possible that he doesn't. It's entirely possible he's blown all of his radar charges and detected nothing. Oh look, more Shimakaze torpedoes. And the thing is, that Shimakaze isn't even playing that well. I mean, he keeps making mistakes, as we're going to see in a moment. Meanwhile, you euthanize me torpedoes are looking pretty good. Unfortunately, the thing that the Halland is quite notorious for is not just its rapid reloading and very, very fast torpedoes, it's also the fact that individually they do not hit particularly hard. 6 torpedo hits in a double flood, not enough to take out the grosser curve first. And oh, look, the Minotaur just popped up. He's on very low health. How did that happen? Well, he's on low health because he's eaten 4 torpedoes. And he's still in the same spot. And nobody's radaring him. He didn't get radared. With the Shimakaze hiding in his own smokescreen, which the Salem isn't radaring, the Minotaur was forced to pop out of the smokescreen to see what was going on. And of course, despite the fact that we now know that he's still in exactly the same spot, he is inside that smokescreen, nobody's radaring him. If the Salem were to use his radar now, if he even has any radar left to use, he probably wouldn't detect the Shimakaze, because he does only have a 9-kilometer range radar, but he would definitely detect the Minotaur. And the Minotaur is on such low health that he would lose a gunfight to a Halland. But, well, thinking is hard, isn't it? So, you euthanize me is forced to rely on his torpedoes again. The Thunderer's lost a lot of health since we last saw him, hasn't he? Gee, I wonder why that is. The Minotaur's shooting at him. Note how the Salem still has all of his health. Note how the enemy Minotaur still hasn't moved. That's how predictable that guy was. He took 5 torpedoes in the same spot, and nobody, well, I say nobody, I'm talking about the Salem here, nobody did anything about it. But remember how I said that that enemy Shimakaze down there isn't actually particularly good. I mean, a Shimakaze versus a Thunderer, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why that Shimakaze should ever get detected. But watch this. Look at that. See where he just popped up? He's a kilometre away from the Thunderer. He sat inside that smoke screen until the Thunderer got to within assured detection range because nobody was spotting for him. The Salem, who's suddenly lost all of his health for some reason, has a Shimakaze at point-blank range and doesn't even kill him. It's the Thunderer who gets him, but way too late for the Thunderer. The Shimakaze got him, which is unsurprising. Shimakaze launching torpedoes at a Thunderer at a range of 1.5 kilometres is always going to kill the Thunderer. That was actually a serious misplay from the Shimakaze. I mean, he hung around inside a smokescreen with no idea of what was going on outside of the smokescreen until he got visually detected by a Thunderer within radar range of a radar cruiser. So it's unsurprising that he died, but at the same time, he did manage to sink 3 Tier 10 battleships and a Tier 10 heavy cruiser. So he's not exactly been punished for his mistakes, is he? Meanwhile, You Euthanize Me has been radared. Fortunately, he's been radared by the Worcester, with nobody on the enemy team actually in a position to have a clear line of fire on him. And after having to do all of the heavy lifting by himself and clear that Minotaur out from the central cap circle, 1 torpedo at a time, You Euthanize Me has managed to flip this central cap here at Bravo. But lit up by the Worcester's radar, he's just going to bide his time and wait the radar out. Now the Halland, despite only having 2 gun turrets, is actually a pretty dangerous gunboat. But not even a Harugamo would want to get into a close-range gunfight with a Worcester. And unfortunately, that is exactly what has just happened. Now, this is not an ideal situation for the Worcester either, I must rush to point out, because You Euthanize Me's torpedoes are ready to go, and he has launched all of them at the Worcester, who is backpedaling furiously while unleashing a punishing fusillade with his 152mm guns, and he's managed to miss the first set of torpedoes. I don't think he's running his hydro, but you don't need to be a genius to know that there are going to be torpedoes coming, and he's managed to avoid all but 2. And then, suddenly, for some strange reason, the Worcester stops shooting. Why? I just don't understand. And why are you turning to give an even bigger target for everybody to shoot at, including the friendly Minotaur, by the way, in case you were wondering where those other shells were coming from. What is going on in this battle? Oh, and now the Salem joins in. But what the hell was that all about? Look at how much health You Euthanize Me has left. The Worcester stopped shooting for 10 seconds. Why? I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. No idea. Haven't got a clue. I guess he just didn't want to win. With 8 minutes and 50 seconds of this match remaining, You Euthanize Me's team were 4 ships against 7. They were 500 points behind and only had possession of 1 of the cap circles. Slightly more than 6 minutes later, I've rarely seen a team throw as hard as this. But You Euthanize Me's team are now about to overtake them on points, and even if nothing else happens, they're going to win in 2 minutes. They have 2 of the 3 cap circles, and they're now 3 against 1. Well, I say 3 against 1. I probably shouldn't really count that Salem, because he's been about as much use as an ashtray on a motorbike. The Minotaur's had a great game. He's currently sitting on a Kraken Unleashed and is surviving on, I think, around about 3,000 health. You Euthanize Me, of course, has had a pretty good game. I mean, he began this match as the least stealthy destroyer on his team, and oh look, he's the only one left alive. What was going on with those Shimakazes? Every single one of them who died because they strayed within surface detection range. They're the stealthiest ships in this battle, and every single one of them was killed less than 5 kilometers away from whoever killed them. You know, when that commander skill rework hit, I did predict at the time that we were going to be seeing a lot more Shimakazes, but what I did not promise you was that we were going to be seeing a lot more good Shimakazes. Oh no! We might be about to lose You Euthanize Me. But it doesn't really matter, because he's got the last kill anyway. So, another one of those World of Warships battles that just defies rational commentary, and was only won thanks to the dedicated efforts of a few individuals and the fact that the enemy team managed to throw even harder than that Salem was trying to. Unfortunately, You Euthanize Me did not provide me with a post-battle results screen, so that means, yep, that's right, you know what's coming. It's time for one of my world-famous custom post-battle results screens, included at no extra cost to you. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you understood what was going on, because I didn't. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.